This is the review of Calculus Chapter 1 exam problem number 1. So here we are given f of x and g of x, and we want to find h of x, which is the composition of f of g of x. So this can be written as f of g of x, like this, fog, right? We know that that means to just take g of x as the input to f of x. So I'm going to substitute g of x in, that's just square root of 25 minus x squared as the input. Now that's the input to my f of x here, and so that's just 1 divided by the input, 25, square root of 25 minus x squared. And this right here is h of x, right? Box my answer, done with part A. Part B says to go ahead and show algebraically or graphically whether h of x is even, odd, or neither. Okay, so I'm not going to do it graphically because I can do this problem without a calculator, and this might be a little complicated to just sketch quickly. So algebraically, we know that if we plug in into our function h of x, if we plug in negative x, that's going to help us test whether or not it's even or odd, and then if it's or neither, right? So let's plug that in. We get 1 over, now plugging that in, we get square root of 25 minus, now it's negative x squared, okay? So now we know negative x squared, this quantity here, it becomes positive once it's squared, so it's minus positive x squared, and that right there equals h of x, right? It's the same thing, so that's equal to h of x. Since we have h of negative x equal to h of x, we know h of x is even, okay? All right, so now we did A and B. Let's go ahead and do part C and D. So C is to do the same thing, but now we're doing the composition the other way. J of x is g of f of x, right? So that's just g. I'm going to go ahead and just plug f of x as the input, g of 1 over x, and that means we're going to plug 1 over x as the input to g. So that's the square root of 25 minus 1 over x squared. All right, so that's the same thing as 25 minus 1 over x squared. You could write it either way, because if you write it like this, the 1 is squared, well, 1 squared is 1. So that right there is j of x, and again, you have either one. Part D then says, again, I'm going to do algebraically, no calculator. We want to test whether it's even, odd, or neither, so I'm going to plug in negative x as the input. Okay, so I'm going to look here for my j of x, so that's just square root of 25 minus 1 over, and then negative x squared. Again, negative x squared is just x squared. And this, again, is the same as we have right there, so that's just j of x. And since we have j with the input of negative x equaling j of x, we have j of x is even again. Well, not again, but same as part B. All right. So that ends for us CPM calculus. Oh, not even CPM. That ends for us the calculus chapter 1 exam review number 1.